Good evening, everybody. I can see a few of you are in the room. Really looking forward to this evening. And I'm going to do my presentation very soon. But it would be lovely to be able to see your faces. I absolutely understand if you don't want to do this, but it just makes it a bit more interactive. And this is a really safe space. You won't be recorded, your names or anything like that. So no obligation, but if you want to show your face, that would be great. And it'd be lovely to know where you're from as well. So let's just see if this chat is working. Let's see, we've got Esther, Zoe, Sarah, Rowena. So let's see where you're all from. Is it working? Oh, I'm from Oxford. Great, brilliant. So I hope you're going to get a lot out of the lot out of this evening. I'll do the presentation at 6 when we're bang on 6 o'clock, and then we'll do the visualization, and then I'll go on live to IGTV afterwards. I can see somebody from Manchester, from Lincoln. Brilliant. So if you want to show your faces, please do. If you don't, that's fine as well. So I'm going to start now, Arjun.
Yep.
Okay. Right, so welcome to this guided visualization for stress reduction. Many of you will be at different stages. Some of you will have done visualization before, others it will be quite new to you. So, I'm happy to, talk you through it all. So, with the work that I do, the mind and body are really, really an important component for me. So much so that I really spend a long time when somebody comes to see me, not with the medical side, but finding out exactly what's going on in their lives, what's happened in the past, the present, and moving into the future. And it's quite interesting, inside the mind of somebody trying for a baby, and I know you're at all different stages at this stage now, at this point now, but it's the same thing. I feel very alone. I feel it's never going to happen for me. I'm finding it really, really hard to deal with uncertainty. I've got no plan. I've got no direction. And, for many women I hear, you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, your relationships change with friends and colleagues, and you do feel very disconnected and isolated. And, my work as an acupuncturist in Chinese medicine, these strong emotions that you experience as a result of going through this journey are fear, anger, worry, and grief. And in Chinese medicine, these all play an important role in terms of the way that energy flows and stagnates. So, what you do have control over are your thoughts and your emotions. So, by being able to change these and make improvements, I believe through visualization is going to give you a day-to-day practice that's going to help you. So, what are the challenges for you? I mean, there are so many challenges, I know. So, when you're just starting off and, so many women get to 34 and 35 and think their eggs are all going to fall off a cliff. So there's a worry of the biological clock, a feeling of lost connection, losing yourself, not being the same person that you were before you started trying for a baby or had IVF failures or miscarriages. Very often unable to make decisions and plan. Importantly as well, so many women lose their fertility on absolutely every level. They stop being creative, their life is on hold. And I think part of the reason for this is that you're in a constant bubble of fear, not knowing what's going to happen next and when it's going to happen. And you get then into self-protection mode. And once you're in self-protection mode, you don't do anything creative. So in a way, you're getting stuck. So that's what I want to achieve from the visualization tonight, giving you the tools and techniques that are going to help you be able to cope with your emotions, your thoughts, and your feelings. The other thing I see a lot of is labels. And these are this is so frequent that the medical establishment, which I'm a great fan of. But I think some of the terms we use in fertility, unexplained fertility, low AMH, poor responder, infertile, stay with the woman, and they go deep into the psyche. And, you know, your thoughts are part of your inner wisdom. And when you're being told negatives like this, you start to really believe them, and they play a role in not just your psyche, but in terms of your mind and your body and your beliefs and what you believe is going to happen or not going to happen. So I see many women stuck in negative thought modes. So I want you to open your mind up to thought energy, because, you know, it's a really important part of what I do. And our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings affect us on absolutely every level: physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And, you know, the thing is about the body, it believes, every cell believes every word that you're saying to it. So it's taking time to sort of change the way of thinking. I think most of you on here know who I am. I've been a midwife for 40 years. I'm an acupuncturist. I set up a clinic in London, natural fertility and also IVF. I've written many books, and I absolutely believe in holistic approach and looking at mind, body as well. But it was quite interesting for me because I've done a lot with my career. And a few years ago, I had sort of like a yearning to relearn more about the mind and body again. And I think what's frustrating is, you know, when you start a business, you have to be careful what you wish for, because the clinic was incredibly busy. A lot of my time was taken up with managing and running the clinic. And I, you know, see clients as well, but only a couple of days a week. And I feel that it was taking me further and further away from the work in mind and body that I wanted to achieve, and spending less time with clients. So I went off and I trained in something called MBIT training, which is looking at multiple brains, which I'll explain more about, and it's coaching. But what really interested me, it was about neuroscience. Neuroscience is the study of the nervous system, and it married so well with what I was doing as an acupuncturist, you know, looking at the heart and the gut and the brain. And in Western medicine, they're very much physical identities. You know, the heart is a physical pump that pumps blood around the body. But in Chinese medicine, it's the seat of your emotions. The gut is about courage and self-belief and letting go. And the emotion is grief. So it really, really fitted well into what I wanted to move forward doing. So as a result, HUG was born, which stands for Heart, Uterus and Gut. So I'm going to be talking a lot more about this as we go along this evening. So I want you to open your minds as well, because a lot of this will be new to you. And I just think, you know, just reserve what you're thinking and just go with the flow until the end, and then we'll see how you get on. So HUG stands for Heart, Uterus and Gut. And like I said, I became very interested in neuroscience because of the frustration I was feeling. And, you know, it's very easy to tell somebody, and, you know, you read it on blogs, etc. You know, when you're feeling down or when you're feeling low, you've got to do a daily practice, you know, get out in nature, go for a walk, listen to music, do yoga, do meditation, etc. But that is really hard to do if your mindset isn't right. You're not motivated to do anything. So, you know, when that period comes and you're not pregnant, you know, you're low. When your IVF fails, you're low. And unless your mindset is good, you're not going to be able to achieve anything. It's all going to be at a very, very superficial level. So when lockdown came, you know, the world stopped. Women didn't have access to fertility treatments, tests, or anything. And instead of looking outside for the answers, you had to start to look within. And that's when I started HUG. I, you know, spent every day during lockdown pulling it all together, because I just wanted women to be able to connect back to themselves. And what I've noticed over the last 10 years is that, you know, we have all these apps, we've got all these gadgets, we've got all these gizmos, we've got Dr. Google, but women are becoming more and more overwhelmed. They're becoming more and more disconnected from their bodies, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And that's my mission, is to try and sort of get you to connect back through these techniques and a different approach to how you're thinking about fertility through neuroscience and ancient wisdom. So what I'm hoping this will do is enable you to start a conversation with your body, have a grounding practice every day, every morning to remain centered and calm, set your agenda for every day, practice breathing, and doing these visualizations, which I'm going to sort of talk a lot more about. But research now is showing us that we do have more than one center of neural activity, which is the brain, that the heart has neural activity, the gut has neural activity, and so to a certain extent, even though not a brain, the uterus does as well. And where you've got neurons and neural activities, you're able to make changes, you're able to send messages via your nervous system through visualization to make improvements and positivity and to change your mindset. So I'm hoping that this is going to happen for you this evening. So you're in the right place if you want to relax on a deeper level, want a better control over your emotions on a day-to-day basis. You want to have a daily practice using the powerful biology we all have within us, and you want to think differently about the challenges that you are facing. So many of you, I'm sure, know what visualization is. I'm sure that you've done it lots and lots of times. I've written lots of visualization scripts in the past, and I'm a huge believer in visualization. And when you think about it, athletes and Olympians use visualization to practice their techniques. They see what they're doing, they practice and practice and practice, and it really, really helps them. And I think that the connection to the mind and the body start with guided visualizations. So, what I think makes what I'm doing different is with these visualizations, it's my voice that's going to be guiding you. You're going to think of a challenge that you have at present, which I will help you with. And then I'm going to guide you through a sequence of balanced breathing, putting your hands in different areas of the body, which I'll explain more about, and asking your mind and body questions in regards to your challenge. The idea behind visualization is the clearer and the stronger the intention is, the more powerful it is. So like tonight, for many of you, this will be the first time you've ever done it. So that's fine. It's just learning. And it's almost like practice, 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 and it will make a difference. So let's move on now to how does it work? Well, it works because through balanced breathing, through working and focusing on the solar plexus, which is in the lower diaphragm here, and practicing balanced breathing, you're able to send messages via the nervous system, via the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. You're able to switch into a calming mode, send these messages, and it is incredibly powerful. So I'm looking forward to doing this with you. And there is a lot of science behind it. With neuroscience now, there's so much research that shows that you can make positive changes via the nervous system and via neurons, to the brain, to the heart, and to the gut. And the interesting thing with neuroscience is, if you're thinking negatively all the time, and let's face it, most of us have stories we tell ourselves. Most of us have beliefs from the past, the present, and into the future. And if you can keep repeating these, it's sending signals and it's strengthening those neurons with negativity. So what I'm going to try and encourage you to do is, by learning these techniques, is to strengthen the positive neurons and make them more positive and make them better, and losing and rewiring so that the negatives are much lower down on the list than the positives. This is hard to do, but with repetition and practice, it certainly can be done. Okay, so let's look at emotional health, because that's what I want to focus on this evening. So you can see the screen in front of you. I hope you've got your pen and paper. And I want you to sort of look at all of these emotions that are here and start to score them out of 10. So I'm just going to leave you for a few seconds as you sort of write down which emotions are most predominantly in your mind. And I also want you to start to think about a challenge that you're facing at the moment. And when I say a challenge, it could be that your IVF has just failed. It could be a relationship you're experiencing difficulty with. It could be a work colleague. It could be something going on with your husband. But I want you to sort of think about the emotion that most predominates in your life, especially in the last sort of couple of weeks or whatever you're going through at the moment. And think about it in terms of what triggers that emotion. You know, who triggers that emotion? What triggers that emotion? What's keeping you awake at night at 4 o'clock in the morning? What emotion is that? And, you know, just write it down so that we can come back to this when we do the visualization. And I think, it's really interesting that every thought, every feeling, every strong emotion that you experience does have an impact on the neurotransmitters in your body and on your biochemistry. You know, there's a whole cascade of things that happen when you're fearful, when you're going through grief, when you cut yourself off. So just think for a minute what that is and write it down so that when we come to do the visualization, it will be clearer to you. So how do you change your emotional mindset? I mean, you can't be positive and cheerful all of the time. Nobody expects that. And it's absolutely appropriate to be down in the dumps and really grief-stricken when you've had a miscarriage, when you're not getting pregnant, when things aren't working out for you. So it's about sort of looking at changing the stories. It's about rewiring your brain. It's about the approach you take to your challenges. And it's about the practice we're going to do, looking at breathing and visualization. Sorry, I've got a bad cough here. But one of the things I really want to get across as well, and I've used this slide before for those of you who have been on other things that I've done, fertility is a whole body event. So everything affects your fertility, from the way you're thinking, the emotions you're experiencing, the food you eat, the way you sleep, if you exercise or don't exercise. You know, it all has an impact. And like I said earlier, that the brain, the heart, the gut, and the uterus are all capable of change, and they all have different functions within Chinese medicine and within neuroscience and NLP. So we will be looking at that. So, you know, for most of us, everybody has stressors and triggers, and everybody is biologically wired differently to manage the stress that they're experiencing. So on a low level, chronic stress is absolutely fine. But when you're constantly feeling bombarded, feeling down, feeling that you're not coping with what's going on in your life, the body will be releasing cortisol, which is a stress hormone. And it will, you know, when you're in that cortisol mode, you're in the sympathetic mode, and you can see what happens to your body. It shuts things down. So, you know, it constricts blood vessels, which you need for the ovaries and the pelvic area, etc. And over a long time, it can become corrosive. It can deplete your immune system, affect your reproduction, and affect your hormones over time as well. So you can see in the parasympathetic mode, and this is the mode that I'm talking about, which is breathing, feeling calm, visualizing, sending messages through your body, that you are in a much better space and place. And that's the mode that I want to encourage this evening when we come to do the visualization. And this slide is interesting as well. I'm equating this road to a superhighway, which is the autonomic nervous system. And this is the network that helps you connect to your mind and to your body, your brain, your heart, your gut, and your pelvis. And it helps you communicate in a different level, on a deeper level. And the autonomic nervous system is closely tied to our emotional states. which has an impact on our behavior and our well-being. So our autonomic nervous system is key to helping you communicate and connect to your body on a deeper level via switching from sympathetic to parasympathetic nervous system. Remember, when we go on to do this, there's no right or wrong way to be able to do this. You've got to do what's good for you. And as I say, practice does make perfect. So again, looking at what makes a brain. A brain has 100 billion nerve cells or neurons, which make connections to other specialized cells called dendrites. And these networks can pass messages and chemical signals in all shapes and sizes to one another. The brain is also capable of producing neuropeptides, hormones, and it's able to grow neural networks by using and learning new skills. So if you learn a language, for example, you're strengthening your neural networks and your memory. When you're learning and you're thinking, you're making connections. And so the brain is primed for new experiences. So when I talked earlier about strengthening the positive neural pathways, when we focus and repeat a new skill, our brain changes, which is really, really interesting. So keep repeating these positivity and you will start to change and rewire your mindset and your brain. And it's important to remember, as much as we can feel trapped in negative emotions, that the brain can grow new neurons. So the neural networking is really, really important. And that's what I want you to sort of focus on tonight in terms of your challenge and thinking about making those changes. So I've just got a video here. Can you just play that? And this is what you can see, like in terms of your neurons, they are making connections every single second. And this is something that is really, really important in terms of visualization when it comes to doing our practice this evening. So if you look at this diagram next, you can see that you've got the autonomic nervous system, and that's the communication, that's sending the messages throughout the vagus nerve to the brain, the heart, the pelvis, and the gut, closely tied to our emotional state, and it's key to making that connection. The autonomic nervous system is the interface between the mind and the body. It has control over most of our organs, including our sexual organs as well. It's also how our brain, our heart, our pelvis, and our uterus work together. So the first step is through balanced breathing, which we're going to cover. And the heart leads the way in terms of the sequence we're going to do as well. So the idea through breathing, like I said earlier, is to switch from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic, and then we'll think of imagery and we'll think of the challenge that you've got. Okay. So for many of you watching this, you've had early experiences such as trauma, and you've conditioned the neural networks of the brain with many dysfunctional patterns becoming learned behaviors. So, for example, if your heart's been broken, which very often it is when you're going through fertility, you don't want to listen to your heart anymore. It becomes hardened and you avoid any emotional closeness as a protective factor. But this doesn't mean to say you can't change that through visualization and your thoughts and emotions. And, you know, when you think about the cognitive language that we use, so for example, the brain in Chinese medicine is very different to the brain in Western medicine, which is about logic, meaning, so many functions it has. But when you think the language we use for the head brain, you know, we talk about putting your heads together, you talk about your brain being frazzled, there's lots of language that's used. When you think about the heart, you talk about being heartbroken, heartfelt, you know, heartache. There are so many words. There's 500 words for heart in different languages. The uterus as well. I work with women's hearts and uteruses every day. And when I asked them to describe that whole area, you know, if they've had lots of gynae operations, if they've had miscarriages, they cut off from the uterus. They visualize it in a very, very different way. You know, for example, endometriosis, a lot of women will feel that their whole lower abdomen is gnarled up. The gut is all about, it's not just about processing food and absorbing, it's about courage, it's about self-belief, it's about self-identity, it's about making decisions and motivation. So these are the messages that we need to be looking at to send to the rest of the body. So just focusing on the heart at the moment. As I said, the cognitive language you use for the heart, you know, is really sort of expressive, and the heart governs the whole body. And when the rhythm of the heart is good, harmony throughout the body, the minute the heart goes out of sync, it causes panic in the body. So you can imagine, for some of you listening to this that have had bad news, it goes straight to your heart. And the whole thing about the heart is the ancient Chinese considered it to be the seat of our emotion. It's where we hold our spirit. And to protect the heart, you need to fill it with warmth, compassion, and love. And that is the main function of the heart in Chinese medicine. If the heart is agitated or stressed, anxious or hurt, it is going to have an impact on the rest of the body. And not only neuroscience is showing this, but medical science is showing this as well. It does hold our memories. And it's quite interesting, you know, some of the stories that you read about people that have had heart transplants, they wake up with somebody else's heart and their tastes change, their emotions change. You know, it's quite interesting how cells have memories. So looking at why I'm focusing on the heart and the uterus tonight is because I think it's more simpler to do than the whole sequence. But what's important about this is, with me working at the heart, with the heart and the uterus, in Chinese medicine, the heart sends energy down to the uterus in terms of being able to conceive. So it's important that these two are absolutely in sync. And I think it's true to say that, you know, when you're feeling at peace, your heart is at peace, and you feel relaxed, you feel contented. But the other thing about the heart, it's got many neurons in which are capable of strengthening. It produces oxytocin, which is the love hormone. And so by doing this visualization and by getting you to think about someone or something you love, it releases oxytocin, the feel-good hormone, and it helps to strengthen those neural networks. So it will be good to see how that goes for you this evening as we go through. So this is the foundation that we're going to practice. So if you look here, you can see there's the brain, there's the heart, there's the solar plexus, the gut, and the uterus. So what we're looking at doing through doing our visualizations, I'm going to be asking you to put your hand on your heart, and I'm going to ask you to put your hand on your uterus. There are visualizations which encompass the whole thing, which I will tell you about as we go through. And we're going to get you to start breathing in a balanced way, putting your hands just underneath the diaphragm where the solar plexus is, to the autonomic nervous system, where we'll start to get you into a deep, deep relaxation. So this is like a figure of 8. And as I say, just bear with me and we'll see how it goes as you go along. Now, one of the things I've got a lot of questions about are nutrition, supplements, diets, etc. I'm not going to focus too much on this evening because I want to get on with the visualization. So I have got books. There are many
I don't know if it'll let me click on it.
can help you if you're trying naturally, if you're going through IVF. One of the things that I'm finding really, really interesting is I've just brought out a new set of products for Mensi. And when we talk about I think most of you will have heard about the gut microbiome, how you can nourish it, how important the brain and the gut are in terms of the gut is considered the second brain, and how you can improve the microbiome for absorption. We're seeing the same now with fertility, with the vaginal microbiome. And lactobacillus is something that can really, really help the microbiome of the vagina and help with implantation. So a lot of information on the website about that. And plus there are other products as well that you can look through and you will see on the website if you want to do anything. So I'm going to move on now to doing the visualization. There are many visualizations that I do. I'm going to give you 10% off any visualization that you want to do. But, you know, feel free as well. You will get the recording of this, so there's no pressure to do anything. This is a bit like a passion project for me. I really want to get it out there. I really feel that it works. And so it would be great to get feedback from all of you as well. So the visualizations that I've got as well are for IVF, the heart uterus connection, which I'm going to do tonight. On the one on the website, it's got music to it and countdowns, etc. I'm not going to have music tonight because I haven't quite worked out how to do that. But you can see there's a visualization for you at every stage of your journey, and the feedback I get is really, really good. So please take a look. And as I say, there is £10 off. If you want to learn more about this, there is my course, which is it's a video there of the course. Yeah. All right, yeah. Which you can see now, yeah. Which the course, it's 4 modules. It's downloads of audios, it's downloads of visualizations. There's a workbook, 60 pages that you work through each module, which look at reassessment, reconnection. The second module will look at communication, rewiring, and reframing. And that's normally £250. But I'm happy, if any of you want to learn more about this, to have it for £50. And I will come on and do Q&As for you about it as well. Anyway, now, are you all ready? I can't see anybody. Oh, right. Please make everybody go on mute, okay? Yeah. Okay, so are you all ready? Can somebody tell me when you're ready? And then I'm going to start the practice. Okay, you just need your headphones. You need to lie somewhere that you're comfortable, you're quiet, and that your phone is off. Somebody can just respond to me to let me know that you're all okay. Ready? Thank you very much. Okay, ready. That's great to see coming through. Great. Okay, so normally there is a countdown, but I'm not going to do that this evening. That is on the other visualizations and there's music. So I'm just going to talk to you really quietly, and I want you to think about a challenge that you have. And you know, I discussed that earlier in the evening. Just think of something simple that you want to communicate to your mind and your body, and just listen for the answers. And just see what comes up for you, and write it down. And like I said, I will be going on to IGTV after this to take some of your questions or hear some feedback about how you got on. So when you're ready, I want you to lie down nice and peacefully with your earphones on and just start to breathe in and out. Easily and effortlessly. Keep breathing in your own way. In and out. In and out. When you're ready, I want you to place your hands either side of your diaphragm to where your solar plexus is. And remember, this is the gateway to your nervous system and the interface between your mind and your body. Is where you make connections and send messages throughout the body. Bring your attention to this area. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to do this. Where your mind goes, your attention goes, your body follows. And by taking time to breathe in and out and starting to feel relaxed, you're switching your system to parasympathetic mode, which is calming and peaceful. This visualization is a natural way that the nervous system stores, accesses, and processes information, and enables you to communicate and connect to your brain, your heart, your uterus, and your gut. That's right. Starting to feel relaxed, just slowly bring your attention to this area. And breathe in for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Easily and effortlessly. That's right. Breathing and relaxing. And now I want you to place a hand on your heart. And as you do this, focus your attention, bring your attention to your heart space. Remember, where your mind goes, your body follows. Start to feel deeply relaxed. Thoughts will come and go, just let them pass. I want you to notice, how does your heart feel today? Just sit and think about this for a few moments. Next breath in, I want you to breathe into your heart space. You may want to breathe in a colour. Bring your attention to your heart beating underneath your hand. How does it feel? Just stay here for a few moments. Remember, the more relaxed you are, the deeper you will go. Allow yourself to go deeper, deeper into your heart space. A safe and peaceful place. And when you're ready, I want you to think of something or someone you truly love. Notice how this makes you feel. That soft, warm, honey feeling. And when you're ready, your next breath, I want you to breathe again into your heart space. And think about the love and compassion you feel. And see that colour filling the whole of your chest area, amplifying the feeling of love and compassion, intimacy and trust that you have. That's right. You're now making the connection with your heart. And that wonderful hormone, oxytocin, the love hormone, is being released when you focus your attention on someone you love. Allow your heart to open like a flower. Every time you inhale, you're breathing in energy, love, and compassion. Your heart has a huge magnetic field connecting you to everything around you. Allow it to open up and make the connections, establishing those feelings of love and kindness within your heart. Feeling at peace with your spirit. This is where you can go to at any time. Peaceful, safe space. Remember, your heart has emotional intelligence, processes memories. And any dynamic shift happens emotionally through your heart. I want you to ask your heart, what is truly important to you in relation to your challenge? Your heart whispers softly. All you have to do is listen. Connecting now back to your inner wisdom. Connecting back to who you truly are. Fill your heart with feelings of kindness, compassion, and love, and self-love for you. Allow yourself to truly feel the energy emotionally and what you want to expand into your life and what you need to let go of, the emotions that no longer serve you. When you're connected to your heart, you can feel the value of everything around you. Stay with us for a few minutes, breathing effortlessly and easily, that feeling of peace and calm. When you're ready, I want you to keep one hand on your heart and the other hand on your uterus. I want you to move the energy from your heart down to your uterus. All you have to do is just to see it flowing down from your heart to your uterus. Remember, where your mind goes, your energy goes and flows. You might want to visualize a color. does your womb feel today? What are you seeing or experiencing? Your womb holds your fertility on every level. Your desires, your trust. What is this whole area telling you in relation to your challenge? What are the drives and desires and urges that you need to address? What emotions are you holding on to here? What stories have you been telling yourself? What do you need to let go of? So any of these negative emotions or feelings or thoughts you're experiencing, see them decreasing, shrinking, getting weaker as you let go. Trusting in the ability to be able to do this. Let it flow out, allowing it to get weaker and weaker. Feel the tension leaving the whole of your pelvic area, feeling lighter and brighter. That's right. When you feel you've let go, in the next breath in, I want you to breathe down from your heart into your uterus, those amazing feelings of love, compassion, and kindness to yourself. You need to be more gentle with yourself. Imagine that colour now flowing down, down, and deeper down from your heart into your womb, filling the whole area with warmth and compassion. The whole area becoming vibrant like you've never experienced before. Connecting, regenerating, engaging. This is where you hold your desires, your creativity on every level. Ignite these feelings. Allow this positive energy to flow deeper and deeper down, allowing you to open up and to receive. Trust in your mind and your body and have the confidence to be able to do this in relation to your challenge. What are your deep, deep desires? What do you need to do in order to connect back to who you are? Stay with us for a few moments. And when you're ready, I want you to place both hands back on your heart. And bring that energy up from your uterus into your heart space. I want you to place those feelings of self-compassion, kindness, deep desires, creativity, your hopes and your dreams deep into your heart and embed them there. These feelings will remain with you and manifest effortlessly in your life. What's happened in the past is no longer relevant to you. What is relevant is that you're feeling connected to you. Stay with that feeling, bringing back that connection, filling your heart with better thoughts. Knowing that you can come back here at any time to this safe space deep within your heart. And when you're ready, come back into the room.